This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to Part 1.
Listen to a talk to new students at a university. Then answer questions 1 to 3.
Hi! It's good to see you all here today. And what a pity the weather is so bad for your first day at university. It could at least have stayed sunny today. Now, my name is Pat Baker. I work for Student Services and I'm going to tell you all about our mentoring scheme for new students. We've had it in place for a few years now, and people starting at university for the first time in general find it a very positive experience at these meetings. What happens is this. Each of you, if you want to, that is, will be assigned a mentor. That is, someone who's been studying here for a year or two and who can show you the ropes. In other words, show you how things work, give you advice if you need it, and just generally be a friendly contact for you in the university. Of course, you'll have your tutors and lecturers who will also help you with academic problems, but this is someone more your own age who has been through the same experience quite recently. What the mentor does is have a group of usually 2 or 3 students, and he or she organises meetings, preferably about once every 2 weeks. We generally find that more than that's just too often, where you chat about your problems, university life, or just about things in general, and your mentor will give you the benefit of his or her experience. If you're joining this scheme, you'll be meeting your mentor today, just after lunch. If you haven't signed up, by the way, it's not too late. Come and see me after the talk. Don't be frightened about this first meeting. It's going to be quite short, so you won't have time to tell your mentor all your difficulties. You'll just get to know each other a little bit and, most importantly, fix a time and a place for your next meeting, which you can have when you're feeling more relaxed and not so overwhelmed by the newness of it all.
Before the talk continues, you have some time to look at questions 4 to 10. Now listen to the second part of the talk and answer questions 4 to 10.
Mentors, as I've said, have been through the same experience as you quite recently, so they can understand your problems. They'll be able to tell you about academic systems, which are so different at university from what you were used to at school. Also, because at university you are much more independent and you have to spend so much time studying on your own, they can suggest techniques for studying which will help you to keep up to date with your work. This university is an enormous place, so another thing which they'll be able to help with is university facilities. You know, anything from sports halls to libraries to medical services, and they can probably help you get involved in all sorts of social activities too. Parties, clubs, sports, whatever. So, as you can see, this is a pretty useful scheme, but it does rely on people keeping in touch. The telephone's pretty useful if you have one, but students are busy people and often out doing things, so email is probably better. Your mentor will be able to show you how to get an email account. They don't cost anything to students. They're free. For people who have never been away from home before, a mentor is a useful contact and support, somewhere between a friend and a parent. And no doubt as the year progresses and you start getting nervous around exam time, your mentor will be ready with useful tips on the best way to pass your exams. After all, they did the same ones either last year or the year before, and they passed them.
That is the end of part 1. Now turns to part 2.
You are going to hear a lecture about dining services. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen to the tape and answer questions 11 to 14.
Welcome to the Dining Commons. This is the newest facility on campus, and I'm proud to say, also one of the best. I know that all university students miss eating home-cooked food. Well, this year, we are hoping to provide students with food and services that will make you feel at home, even without your family. The administration has been listening to the voice of the students. Students gave us frequent suggestions last year as to how we could improve the university. One of the most frequent suggestions was improving the dining options. We have been working hard all summer to come up with ideas that will make student life in the dormitories more pleasant. One of the new options we are offering in the dining facilities is variety in student meals. Last year, there was a set menu for every dinner, so if students didn't like the food, there was no choice. Students had to eat whatever was served. But this new dining facility has 3 completely unique areas, each with a different theme. At every meal, there will be 3 options for students to choose from. For example, there might be Italian food at station number 1, which might consist of pizza and pasta. At station number 2, there would be American food, consisting of hamburgers and hot dogs. At station number 3, there could be vegetarian soups and salads, accommodating all the vegetarians. We hope that with the greater selection of food, all students will find something to their liking.
Now look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen to the tape and answer questions 15 to 20.
Not only will students have more options, the food will also be better. Each section of the facility will have a head chef. These are real chefs that have been trained in culinary school and have been hired specifically by the school to work in the dining facilities. All of the chefs have a speciality. The school is hoping that these chefs will prepare better tasting and more nutritious food. Every student will be able to make suggestions and also give their input as to which menus taste better. Last year, many students complained that the dining facilities didn't have very convenient hours. This year, we hope to change that. We will open for breakfast at 6 a.m. to accommodate all the early risers. In the evenings, we will open until midnight for all the students that like to go for a late night snack. The afternoons will still remain closed, but we will have a student store open that will provide all students with drinks and fruit. The student store will be open every day from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Every student that has paid full tuition and dormitory fees has already paid for their dining facility fees. Students can eat at any time and in any amount for free. If you are a student that does not live in a dormitory, you can still purchase a dining facility card. This card will entitle you to the full services of the dining facility. This card is available only for students and is not open to the general public. If you are not a student and wish to dine here, you must purchase meals at the door. There are a few rules to follow. Even though we do not limit the amount of food that can be taken, we do not want students to waste food. Please do not take more than you can eat. Also, every student must clean his or her own trays and plates. We will provide plates and trays for student use, but please do not abuse these items. Please do not leave your plates on the tables. Your parents are not here to clean up after you anymore, so I hope all students will be responsible. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the upcoming year.
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3.
Here you'll hear a conversation at the counselling service. First, you have some time to read questions 22 to 30. Now listen to the conversation and answer questions 22 to 30.
Hello, sit down, please.
Thank you. Well, I heard about your counselling service from a friend, and I was really interested. You know, I'm a new student and I don't know how you work, and...
Well, the primary task of our service is to enable you to become more effective in your life, inside and outside the university. I think counselling is valuable if you're feeling that your life has become out of balance in some particular way. For example, it may be that you're experiencing difficulty in managing change, stress or burnout, difficulty with concentration, depression or anxiety, or a recent crisis of some kind. It can really help to talk things over with a counsellor.
I see. After the semester began, I found I was facing tons of decisions that would be made by myself. I felt under stress sometimes.
Yes, most new students have problems like yours. Just as I have said, it's a kind of being out of balance. Much of what we do is to help you get your thinking, feeling, behaviour, or perspective on life back into balance. We'll seek to help you focus on and understand more clearly the issues that concern you.
But the issues are complex, I think. They are about academic, personal, and many other aspects. I don't know how you can help me to decide so many...
Well, we don't decide, we just help. We'll respect your own values, choices, and lifestyle. We work towards highlighting your strengths and inner resources to help you make the choices, resolutions, or changes that are right for you. When you're feeling under pressure, it's easy to lose sight of the many strengths and inner resources that you have.
You mean I have enough strength to solve the problems and make choices?
That's absolutely right. You just lose sight of them sometimes. And it can also be helpful to talk through any difficult decisions or dilemmas with which you may be faced. You don't have to wait until you're in a crisis to come and seek help. Taking the time and space to reflect in the supportive, private and comfortable environment that the counselling service offers you is an effective way to move forward positively in your life.
Is it possible if I prefer a separate waiting area?
Yes, we'll take account of any special requests you may have to protect your confidentiality. The record of your name and other basic information is kept for statistical purposes. Any notes written down about you are identified by a number. No personal information is kept on the computer.
How do I know what particular counselling I need to balance myself?
Well, as you've noticed, when you approach the service for counselling, you will be offered an initial half-hour assessment interview with one of the counsellors. They can answer any questions you may have and help you to assess whether individual counselling is the best way forward for you. It is the initial assessment interview. If it is thought appropriate, a referral can be made to a variety of medical, therapeutic or psychiatric services in the community, or we can just begin weekly counselling sessions.
How do I make an appointment if I need regular counselling?
If you decide to proceed with regular counselling, you will be offered the first available appointment, often with a different counsellor. Each session would be for 50 minutes, and usually you would meet with your counsellor once a week. The average number of sessions that we see people is 5, but that can be extended. You can decide on your preferred time, early morning or late afternoon.
It sounds pretty useful. I hope I can adapt to the new life with your help.
You certainly will. Actually, going away to university is a time of transition and personal development. Evidence suggests that the vast majority of students who have been for counselling do find it a valuable experience.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
You will hear a presentation given by someone training as a teacher. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 34. Now listen to the beginning of the presentation and answer questions 31 to 34.
Hello everybody, how are you all doing? We are going to have a presentation done by Yuri today. She is going to tell us about an art project she did while at her last teacher training session. Yuri?
Thank you so much. Yes, I was at Arlington Elementary for the months of November and December. I taught several periods of 5th grade classes during my time there. Since it was the holiday season, I chose to do some craft projects with the kids. They are not hard. Cleaning up after the projects is easy, and the materials can be found anywhere. To do this, you first have to give reasons to the kids about why they are making holiday decorations. You can tell them that during this time of year, there are several traditions that different groups of people celebrate. The one I am going over is general in nature and can be used in any of them. In one project, we started with paper bags. With a pencil, we then drew the outline of our holiday decoration. The outline has to be entirely within the borders of the paper bag and also must generally be circular in shape. Once the outline was drawn, we carefully used craft scissors to cut the bag along the pencil outline. Since this was done on the paper bag, everyone should have ended up with 2 pieces of paper that are the same exact shape but are mirror images of each other. For the next part, we used thick cardboard, poster board, or styrofoam can also be used. We took one of our paper bag shapes and traced the outline onto the cardboard. Using the craft scissors again, we made a piece of cardboard similar in shape to our paper bag cutouts. After that step, we proceeded to the rest of the project.
Before you hear the rest of the presentation, you have some time to look at questions 35 to 40. Now listen and answer questions 35 to 40.
To finish up the project, we have to affix the paper bag cutouts to the cardboard. Any sort of adhesive can be used, but I prefer to give my kids glue sticks. Liquid glue can be quite messy, and with glue sticks, it is easier to control the amount of adhesive used. After attaching the two cutouts to both sides of the cardboard, we waited a little bit to let the glue dry. In that time, I prepared the various materials necessary for personalizing their decorations. These included color markers, gold and silver glitter, different colors of yarn, felt pieces, ribbon, and buttons. I told my students that their decoration could not use more than 3 different materials. One reason for this was aesthetic. Using too many different kinds of materials would result in a tacky decoration. The other reason was practical. For everyone, there would be enough materials to share. As you can see, I've brought some of the decorations my kids made to show you what the final results are. Martin chose to use only the markers, and only 2 colors at that, but created really nice geometric stripes on his holiday decoration. Lydia used 3 different types of material, the ribbon, buttons, and pieces of the black felt, to create decoration that looked very much like an animal. The last one I want to show you is really great and surprised me with its creativity, using just different lengths of colored yarn. Judy made a very convincing holiday landscape on her decoration. You can easily make out the hills and trees of what looks like a rural area. Well, I hope this presentation was useful. Thank you for your time.
Wow, that was great, Yuri. I think the other teachers will definitely learn something from this.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.